Hello everybody, Bill here, Rust to Resurrection. Today's video is about the engine stand. But before I get there, I want to do an update on 3 projects that were in the works or are in the works. And the first is this epoxy floor. Now, I did a video on this. I'll put a link to it up here. You can go check it out if you wish. One of the concerns that I had when I painted the floor, and I voiced this on that video, was tire hot spotting, where the warm tires would release the epoxy. And I have, in fact, that happening on this. I was a little worried about that. So what I'm going to do to fix that is, I had the same problem down in my machine shop where I had to cut some vinyl-ish and put the vinyl underneath where the car's tires go, park on that vinyl, and then the vinyl would absorb the heat from the tires and leave the epoxy intact underneath. So I'm going to do that here as well. I'm going to go pick up some ribbed vinyl if I can find it, so that I can park on the vinyl so that the epoxy won't hotspot anymore. The other update is the 75 Pontiac Grand Prix. I've done several videos on that. The car is at the machine shop, or at the mechanic's shop right now. We have fixed nearly everything on the car. I still need to add tires and that kind of thing, but everything that was wrong has been fixed except the exhaust manifold. We had to get both of them off. Almost all of the studs that hold the exhaust manifold to the heads were either already broken, causing some of the leaks that I was getting, or they broke or snapped off when Wayne was pulling them from the engine. Wayne had to literally unhook the motor mounts, jack the engine up so that he could get in there with a drill so that he could get those broken studs out so that we can add new studs back in. So that part is done. The driver's side is warped, so we're going to get that flattened or machined so that can go back on. The passenger side is totally broken in half. We knew it was cracked. We didn't know that it was completely broken. I have been trying for 2 weeks to find a replacement, and there is no new aftermarket parts or manifolds that are available. So we've been looking into junkyards and other places. I've been to Marketplace, I've been to eBay, I've contacted some friends who are in the business who literally are going to their friends in junkyards to see if they can get a replacement. So far, that has not happened. One of the members of the Pontiac Grand Prix Collectors Club that I've been a member of, he's been trying to help me through the club. He's given me a whole bunch of information of manifolds that are interchangeable. We've come up with nothing. Right now, until we find something, that manifold that is broken is going to a local company that does precision laser welding. They think they can fix it, but they're not guaranteeing it. So we're going to bring that over to them and see if that's a stopgap that we can use until we can source a replacement manifold. So that's the update on that. That car is, other than those manifolds, that car is ready to come home. And then I can do some more work on it here so that I can get the thing on the road come spring. That is the plan. All right. The third update actually involves the engine stand. So I got the Dauntless V6 block to the machine shop, and they are going to put it in the clean tanks, try to get all the grease and oils and stuff out of the oil galleries, and then I'll have to do whatever cleaning I do when that comes back. But that's at the machine shop getting cleaned. And I asked them to MagnaFlux the block as well. That block set for 40 years in changing climates, going from sub-zero to 90 degrees. So I want to make sure that the block did not crack. When I took it apart, there was still antifreeze in all the galleys that they needed to be in. So I'm hoping that there was no cracking, but I've asked them to MagnaFlux it, check it for cracks, and as soon as that's done, we're going to bring it back. That brings us to the engine stand. So the engine stand, I put the engine in the engine build room that I built in my basement. The problem is my backhoe was barely able to lift the block, the completed block, to set it down inside. Backhoes are designed, the hydraulics are designed to pull, not to lift, and the amount of strength that those pistons had in the open was barely enough to get this thing down in the basement. So when it comes back, when the block comes back, I've moved the engine stand up here in my my garage. So we're going to assemble it here in the garage. I'll still do the work on the engine, doing the cleaning and all of that down inside the basement in the engine build room that I made. But when it comes to the assembly, we're going to do it in the garage here. That brings up the project that we're going to do here. We're going to change the wheels from hardened steel wheels to poly wheels, and I'll explain that to you as I start working to change them. So I spent a lifetime working in a factory or factories, and of course all the factories had cement floors or concrete floors. Sometimes we would paint those floors with an epoxy coating. Sometimes we would just leave them raw or bare. More times than not, we actually painted them because same as my reason for painting this floor. Even in the factory, when you paint the floors with an epoxy coating, they're easier to keep clean, so you're not working your butt off just trying to do regular maintenance at the end of the day. But anyway, we used a lot of mobility racks to move parts and components around. And early in the process, years and years ago, we always put steel wheels, or steel wheels were always on those mobility racks or benches or whatever we used to move heavy components around. It would tear up the cement. It would not only tear up the epoxy, but it would tear up the cement. So that constant pounding of the wheels, the steel wheels on the floor, the concrete would get worn away. So eventually, we went to a hard polyurethane wheel that still had the same weight carrying capacity, but it did not tear up the concrete. It didn't tear up the cement. It didn't tear up the epoxy. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pull the steel wheels, and I'm going to add these hard poly wheels. So a couple reasons. One, same kind of principle. I don't want to be rolling around on my new epoxy floors and tearing it all up with those steel wheels. That's my chief reason for doing it. But also, the poly wheels tend to roll a little bit easier and a little bit quieter than the steel wheels. So today's video is simply changing those poly wheels. So this is going to be a little bit of a deal because Not all of this is set up the same way. Gotta be careful because I'm gonna lose all the ball bearings. So I don't want to do that. Guess we lost all the ball bearings. Ah, shit. Okay. I wanted to be able to put this back together someday if I needed to put the steel wheels back on. So I didn't want to lose everything. Jesus Christ, look at that. Somebody's been living down in there. Somebody's been living down in there. Holy moly. Holy moly. Dog food, cat food, you name it, it's down there. I'm going to have to drill some holes to get that to fit. I wasn't able to do a direct replacement. I couldn't find the same base or actually the same size wheels. These wheels are about 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I wasn't able to do a direct replacement. So the original wheels are bolted through the center. And the replacements have these 4 bolt holes. They're all the same way. So I'm going to have to modify them in order to fit on there. So I'm going to make holes in the engine stand and then bolt it through, which is not a big deal. So we will center punch that. I gotta go down to my shop. I'll get some rail drills. These are terrible. All right, so these are machinist quality drills. These are just something inexpensive that I bought for home use, and clearly they don't have the abilities that these other drill indexes have. Anyway, if you're not following my other channel, 6 Round Studio, if you're into firearms or firearms restorations, consider heading on over to that channel where we do all kinds of high-end restorations on some very old and sometimes very fancy firearms. All right, This is going to be fun trying to get down inside there with any kind of a wrench. Is this metric or is this good old-fashioned American? Good old-fashioned American. All right, 7/16. Let's tape this on. Let's tape it on. Oops, wrong way. Wrong way. Can we reach down inside there? Boy, not by damn much. Ooh, first time. First time. Okay, good. And all right, that looks good. All right, we're going to have to modify these as well. This has a center bolt, and I'm going to simply drill a hole down inside the center of this to use the same bolt hole. All right, last one. All right, it's done. Let me show you how quiet it is and how smooth it rolls on this cement floor. So it's nice and quiet, it rolls nice and easy. And as I said, back in the day, the factory that I worked at, we went from those steel wheels to these poly wheels just for that reason. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, and if you got some value out of this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, make a comment. I'm telling you, the YouTube algorithms like that kind of stuff. This channel, Rust to Resurrection, is already exceeding the YouTube averages, and we all owe that to you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, and I will see you in the next video coming up, where it's either going to be the Dauntless V6 or bringing that Pontiac Grand Prix home. See you guys. Bye.